What are the most interesting technology trends and what does it mean for your organization? Well, after this video, you know 3 important technology trends, their possible impact and 3 concrete recommendations for you. But first, a short story. We were on holiday in Portugal and we booked an apartment via Airbnb, and it was a lovely apartment on a farm with goats, cows, sheep, cats and chickens. So also our son really loved it there. But the mobile connection in that apartment was terrible. No Wi-Fi, and also on the cell phone it was also terrible. When me and my girlfriend wanted to search for restaurants or hiking trails or other things you do with internet, that did not work out. So that was not really handy, but maybe that was also the point, just to have the offline luxury. I don't know. Anyway, what that has to do with this video, I will get back to you later. Comment, like and subscribe. Do you have a remark or a question? Please let me know. Give me thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Question for you. What technology trends fascinates you the most? Please leave a comment down below. My name is Peter Joosten. I'm a futurist, a keynote speaker and an innovation researcher. And my theme is how to become future-proof. So what's heading our way and what can we do to prepare ourselves for all these changes and developments? And I do that by giving keynote presentations and workshops on technology, the future and innovation. And if you want to hire me for a workshop or a keynote presentation, please send me a message. This topic of technology trends is related to futures research and innovation. So if you want to know how to do futures research to look at these technology trends, go on my YouTube channel after you watch this video to search for the video about futures research. And if you're curious about what is innovation and also what are the steps in my innovation model I use in my work, go to my YouTube channel and look for the video about the innovation model. So what's the first important technology trend? For after this part, you know what I think, what trend has an enormous impact on your business and society, and it probably already has. And of course, I talk about artificial intelligence. And I was thinking in preparation of this video, I want this video to be evergreen, so you can also watch it 1 year or 2 years or 5 years in the future. So I think I want to focus on a topic that's also relevant in the future, and it's how to adopt, how to use, how to implement artificial intelligence in your organization. Because these developments with artificial intelligence and especially these LLMs, these large language models, are going pretty fast. So what I see also with my specialty as an innovation researcher is that there's a capability absorption gap. So these frontier labs are racing ahead faster than the traditional economy can keep pace. So there's a gap between capability and absorption. By the way, hat tip to Azim Azhar, who wrote about this gap. So this current generation of artificial intelligence is already powerful enough to remake how we work, yet firms are absorbing these capabilities far more slowly than the labs that are enhancing them. So think of the frontier labs of OpenAI, of Anthropic nowadays, Google, Meta, Amazon, maybe new players in the future. They are going really fast, but we cannot keep up as organizations, as economy as a whole. So why is that? Well, a couple of reasons. I think learning time is the first one. So businesses today, they will need time to integrate artificial intelligence into their workflows and also adjust managerial practices and also refine user behavior around new systems. So yeah, you have to adapt. That takes time, that takes learning. But the second reason is also complexity, because artificial intelligence, it could affect customer service interactions, employee onboarding, product design, data analysis, all at the same time. So it's not that simple like you buy new software for your invoicing, for example. But artificial intelligence goes through all of these processes, all of these systems, all of these departments at the same time. So it's really complex also for organizations to adapt to that. And the third reason is reliability. Because, as you notice, artificial intelligence systems sometimes really make stupid mistakes. And in some businesses, if you're working in healthcare or legal or HR maybe, there's no margin for these kinds of errors. And I like this quote by Andrej Karpathy. He's a founder of OpenAI and a former head of AI at Tesla. And he describes these cognitive deficits of large language models, superhuman in some areas, but making mistakes that basically no human will make. So reliability is in some industries really a big barrier for adopting AI at a faster pace. So what might be a solution for businesses and organizations to close that capability absorption gap? In a couple of ways, developing talent, but also redesigning workflows to adapt them on artificial intelligence, and also to upgrade your infrastructure. So you have to push faster, you have to adapt these workflows and focus on talent. And this is a topic that's relevant now, but I suspect also in the future. So what's a trend that is often overlooked? Well, after this part, you know this trend and you have a better understanding of its impact on the world. And this trend is synthetic biology. And synthetic biology is the design and redesign and making or remaking of cells, parts or group of cells that form an organism. So it's tinkering with biology. And one example, I visited the biomedical engineering lab in Eindhoven. So one application of biotechnology or synthetic biology, whatever the name, is the use of biology as a sensor. So I'm here at the University of Eindhoven and I talked with the iGEM team and they're working on biosensors. So they're from, for example, biomedical engineering and other disciplines. And they're working to make with a chain of amino acids to make a certain protein that can react with strands of DNA of a particular type. Also think about viruses. And when there's a match, then the protein, one part of the protein can emit a certain color. So in that way, you can see by the color if there's a match with a certain DNA strand. So I think biosensors, and this is mostly I can think of healthcare applications, but you can also think in industry, in analysis of soil, of water, these kinds of things. I think in future, based on the advancements in biotechnology and synthetic biology, we can also see more use of biosensors. So we see this tinkering in healthcare, like the example in Eindhoven, but also in industries. Think of biofuels, eating bacteria, plastic eating bacteria, not eating plastic eating bacteria, but also in food. Think of engineering crops to increase their yield and also make them better resistant against heat. And also in industries you would not suspect, for example, fashion, that they're also making fashion clothes, but also shoes with synthetic biology, which is really astonishing. So question for you is, look at your products or processes. How can synthetic biology play a role? So for the last technology trend, what technology seems small, but its consequences can be huge? Well, after this part, you are aware of a phenomenon that is quite bizarre. And I'm going to talk about nanotechnology. And I explained the idea of nanotechnology and its impact on sensor technology and our health at a lecture I gave at the Technical University of Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Did you know that every 5 seconds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that your hair grows with 1 nanometer? So nanotechnology is it's technology on a really tiny scale, and it's a sort of a combination between material science and also biotechnology, as you can say. And we are very intrigued by a company called Futurist Particles, which is a spin-off of the University of Delft. And they're working on nanotechnology and nanosensors. So Delft-based Futurist Particles raises 6.5 million for next generation material discovery prints. So they have a method to print materials on nanoscale, and then they also use artificial intelligence to configure these materials, and then they have clients all around the world that want to have these kinds of materials for their own purposes. And this sounds vague, but for example, they're working on new nanomaterials that can help with solar energy, to increase solar capabilities, capacities, for example. They also work on nanotechnology for batteries, so to also increase the functionality and capabilities of batteries. And also one example told by the CEO in an interview, which I thought that's really something for this course, is that they state, well, I would suspect that now we know, we discovered about 1% of all the materials that are possible that we can use. And in the next 2 decades, we will discover the other 99%. So maybe you think that's marketing, but still, if you think about what's the basis of nanotechnology and material science also for other applications. And one application he talked about is that they say, well, maybe we can also have in the future make nanomaterials that can be as a sensor, and then we put these sensors into a mobile phone, for example. So when you have your conversation with your mobile phone, that sensor already detects certain pathogens or bacteria in your breath while you're doing your conversation with somebody else. So one application could be these sensors, but also think of material sciences. If you make products, what if you can use materials with specific strength you only dreamed of? So I'll give you one example to speed up your thinking process. There's a Poisson ratio, and that's when you extract a material, it gets thicker. You think, how is it possible? Well, it's possible within the material sciences, which is an application of nanotechnology. And one application of this Poisson ratio could be soft robotic hands. So you don't only have to think about the uses of nanotechnology in products, but you can also think, how can it also have a role, this material sciences, nanotechnology, also in our production processes, for example. All right, what are some practical tips? Well, after this part, you have concrete advice to act on immediately for more success. First off, it's important to embed this foresight into your strategy. So by regularly assessing technology trends and tailoring your long-term vision to these emerging trends, you can really adapt to what's happening and also play it to your advantage. So technology and innovation should be part of your strategy. And the reason is, it pays off to be fast. Clayton Christensen, the late, I think, great thinker on innovation, he stated that companies entering a new market as pioneers are 6 times more likely to become more successful than companies that come later. So if you're aware of these technology trends and you adapt and you pioneer and you're the first, then it increases your chances that you will be more successful in that marketplace. And the second tip is that you also have the technical skills in your board of directors, in your C-suite, or in your organization, depends on your size, of course, to ensure informed decision-making about these technological innovations. So you can also, if you're a small organization, you can also have a team, or maybe also cooperate in networks, also maybe with institutions for higher education, universities, so that you have access to these technological skills to really have a good sense about what's happening and how can we also use and apply it in our own business. And the third type of advice is that innovation can start anywhere. That's a sort of my go-to point. So that's really important that you involve everybody, because a good idea can start anywhere in your organization, and maybe also from your suppliers or even from your competitors. And when you have that idea, you scale it up, you start to conduct small experiments and pilots to really experience these technologies. So you're not only reading about them or watching videos about these technology trends, but really try to have your own grips, your own experience with these technologies. So in that way you can make better decisions. So as a bonus, technology can not only lead to innovation in products or services, but also in your channels or business model. And for that, we go again to my guest lecture I gave at the Technical University of Eindhoven. And I start with a story about large military airplanes. So stay with me. It happens more and more, the use of digital twins. I also read a story about the US Air Force. And a couple of years ago, they had a tender for companies to make a bid on their engines. So they're large engines on these big aircrafts. And the winner of that tender was Rolls-Royce, the British Rolls-Royce company. And one of the elements why Rolls-Royce won that tender is because they provide the US Air Force also with digital twin technology. So there was also a story I read, is that there was such an aircraft was flying from Singapore to Los Angeles, and then they saw a malfunction in one of the engines. The pilot saw that. They had like a conversation with the engineers at Rolls-Royce in England. Together, they stated, well, it's okay for you to continue your flight to Los Angeles. But they did the analysis already there at the factory in England. Then they called the supply plant in France, and there already flew a plane to Los Angeles, while the plane from Singapore to Los Angeles was still in the air. So there was a plane with spare parts already up in the air. So when the plane landed in Los Angeles, there was minimal time because the spare parts were heading there. Based on the digital twin technology, they already knew what to fix. So they state that because they have digital twins of the engines, that these engines can also work 30% longer compared to normal engines. And what's also relevant and interested, if you're into innovation or maybe thinking about a career in business or maybe have a startup, is that this also leads to new type of revenue models. So the US Air Force, they pay Rolls-Royce by the time for every hour that the engine is working, is capable. So they call it power by the hour. And we see this more and more. I lately had a talk for technology companies in healthcare. And there are also at the drinks, a president from Siemens, he talked to me and said, at the hospital Bernhoven, we also do analysis in a lab. And we also do that based on how much analysis we do for them. So it's not a lump sum, but we got paid for how much analysis we're done. And we call it pay by the slice. So I thought power by the hour, pay by the slice. These are all, I think, funny new business models. So back to my story about the apartment in Portugal with bad Wi-Fi connection. That made me realize we as humans are so quick to adapt to new technologies, like that we have mobile connection everywhere and all the time. So we sort of now take that mobile connection or Wi-Fi for granted. And that made me ponder, will the same apply to artificial intelligence? Probably already has, but also to synthetic biology or nanotechnology. So question for you, if you remember, what technology trend fascinates you the most? Please leave a comment. For me, that's synthetic biology, because I think tinkering with biology is sort of, I don't know, that really fascinates me a lot. It really gets, really astonishing that we can do that now. But please leave your comment down below. Well, thanks for watching. Want to hire me for a keynote presentation, consultancy or webinar? Please send me a message. Comment, like and subscribe. Do you have a remark or question? Please let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and you came so far. You'll probably like it, I hope. And do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, fun story, we had no internet connection. But what do you do then? So me and my girlfriend read books, but we also played board games like this one, where you have to construct railroads, stations and highways. Yeah, it was really fun. But although I lost in the end from my girlfriend 2 times.